All right, let's take a look at Unit 4, Lesson 16, and this is just a continuation of the previous lesson using graphs and logarithms to solve problems. So this problem, we're taking a look at bacteria in different conditions. So to study the growth of bacteria in different conditions, a scientist measures the area in square millimeters occupied by two populations. The growth of population A in square millimeters can be modeled by f of h equals 24 times e to the 0.4 h, where h is the number of hours since the experiment began. The growth of population B can be modeled by g of h equals 9 times e to the 0.6 h, and here are the graphs representing the two populations. So you can see that they start in different places. So f of h started at 24, so this one is your f of h. And then your B, population B, was g of h, whoops, and that started at 9. So here's your g of h. And you can see that their growth rates are a little bit different. Population A is growing a little bit slower, and population B is growing a little bit faster. So the point of intersection tells us that at that amount of time in hours, that those two populations cover the same area in square millimeters. At that time, both populations cover the same area. In square millimeters. Okay. Okay, so suppose the population coordinate of the point of intersection is 171. Explain why we can find the corresponding time coordinate by solving f of h equals 171 or g of h equals 171. Okay, so if they both are equal to 171 at the same time, then they're both going to give you the same h value because that ordered pair is the same x and y for both equations. So you have h, and then the g of h is the same thing as your f of h. And so if you solve either of those equations, it's going to give you the h value. At that point, they have the same output and input. All right, so if we were to solve the equation f of h equals g of h, well, whenever you set two equations equal to each other, that gives you their intersection point. And so we could say, all right, what were the two equations? 24, actually, let's color code that. 24 e to the 0.4 h must equal 9 times e to the 0.6 h. And then you would solve for h. Because again, they both have to be the same value. All right, so solve either one of them, and we'll show our work. And that does not look like the word point. There we go. All right, so let's go ahead and solve. We'll just go with the first one. All right, so if we say 24e to the 0.4h equals 171, then that's the same thing as saying the natural log of 171 is equal to 0.4h. And then we can divide both sides by 0.4. And then we're definitely going to use, oh wait, I forgot about my 24. Whoops, okay, let's fix that. All right, so the first thing we have to do is divide both sides by 24. Sorry about that. I was getting ahead of myself. So we have e to the 0.4h equals approximately, let's see, 171 divided by 24. That equals 7.125. So we don't even have to round that. All right, now we're going to put it into the natural log. So the natural log of 7.125 is equal to 0.4h. And then we're going to divide both sides by 0.4. All right, so then we will do the natural log of 7.125, and then we're going to divide that by 0.4. And so h is about 4.9, and that is in hours. So about 4.9 hours. All right, now let's take a look at part 4, where we're solving where f of h is equal to g of h, and we're going to take a look at how that one works. All right, I'm going to grab purple for this one. All right, so we have 24e to the 0.4h equals 9 times e to the 0.6h. All right, so we are going to first get, we're going to divide both sides by 9. We're also going to divide both sides by e to the 0.4h. That way we can get rid of all of our we'll get all of our e's on one side and the other constants on the other side. Okay, so these two are going to cancel out, and then the 9s will cancel out. So we are left with 24 equals e to the 0.6h over e to the 0.4h, right? And then remember, what do we do with our exponents when our bases are the same and you're dividing? You subtract those. So that actually becomes 24 equals e, and then 0.6 minus 0.4 is 0.2h. And now we can put that into our natural log. So natural log of 24 is equal to 0.2h. Divide both sides by 0.2, and that equals h. So now let's do that on our calculator. Natural log of 24 divided by 0.2, and I did something wrong. Oh, I forgot to divide my 24 by 9. Whoa, let's back that train up. All right, so that is supposed to be over 9. That is supposed to be over 9. That is supposed to be over 9. And this is supposed to be over 9. So here's what we're going to do. Instead of going all the way back, I'm going to do that, and then I'll divide that by 9. There we go. That makes a lot more sense. Totally forgot about that dividing of 9. And then so h is equal to 4.9 hours, and we get the same thing either way. Right? So be careful with your algebra, you know, even I can make mistakes. So we all make mistakes. So make sure you go back and you check your work.